Thank you. I take this one, yeah? Thanks for having me. So this is Play a Big Game, Win a Big Life. How to grow your business impact without giving up your ideal lifestyle. So I'll tell you a story. You may have heard it before. And if you have heard this story before, I want you to listen for the twist. One day, a businessman, a very successful businessman, after years and years of hard work, finally takes a vacation. And he goes off to one of these exotic island places and he's enjoying a nice walk on the beach. And as he's walking along, he sees a fisherman coming in with his haul. And he stops and says hello to the fisherman. He says, "What are you up to today?" The fisherman says, "Well, I'm done fishing. I'm going to give this fish to my wife. She's going to sell it to the market. We're going to have a great dinner with the family, and I'm going to go hang out with my friends in the bar and play some guitar." And the businessman says, "Oh, okay. Well, you could get more fish, right? It's barely noon." And the fisherman is a little intrigued and says, "Well, I guess I could get more fish, and then what would I do?" And the businessman says, "Well, you got more fish, you could sell more fish. You can get a bigger boat, bigger net, catch more fish." The fisherman says, "And then what?" And the businessman says, "Well, then you could hire more boats and get even more fish." And the fisherman is intrigued, a little excited about the greatness that he could achieve in his fishing industry. The businessman goes on to explain how an empire could rise from a small boat in a remote location, how this fisherman could become the world's greatest purveyor of fish, owning entire marketplaces of sea commerce. And the fisherman's excited. He goes, "Okay, okay. And then what?" And the businessman says, "Well, then you could retire and come to a remote fishing village and go fishing on the beach, go fishing and come in and hang out with your family for dinner and play the guitar and go to the bar with your friends every day." And so if you've heard this story, you're already with me, right? There's a moral, and the moral is you can just start enjoying today. You can have that love and that connection and that free life today. It's not so complicated. It's actually quite simple. But I think there's a second moral, and the second moral is this: the fisherman can't leave the island. And so, what I want to talk about is that part of digital nomad life where I meet people and they say, "I'm going to do teaching. I'm going to teach English in Vietnam, or I'm going to be this kind of coach, or I'm going to do this kind of thing because look how great my life can be for just $2,000 or $3,000 a month in these beautiful remote places." And that's true, but at that level, at least where I come from, you can't go home. And so today, what we're talking about is how can you have both? How can you have that beautiful, connected, relational, joyous, exploratory life, but also you can just do it anywhere. It's not about just doing it. So in the last year, I got to visit that turtle in the Galapagos. I did my yoga teacher training in Colombia. I did Muay Thai training with actually another cruiser, Tamea. Also, Joe's there, Mila's there. You might know them. And I got to go see my nephew in Seattle. Now, when I was in Colombia, I was spending about $3,000 that month. Seattle was 3 or 4 times that to live that same quality of life. So, how do we get to have the same quality of life in Colombia and Ecuador and Thailand, and also in the US, and also in Berlin? So, in the last year, the other thing that I did is just expand businesses. I found $1 million for a handful of other businesses. And I just want to talk about that. How do we find money in our businesses? So before we look into that, if you could for just a moment envision the impact that you want to make in the world. So for me, part of the impact is the relationships that I have. And for me, part of the impact that I have is growing other businesses. And if you have a moment, if you would, think about what impact you would like in the world. Can you see it? And then, are you making that impact on a scale of 1 to 5? Show me your fingers. One is not quite there. 5 is I'm so making the impact I want to make. Show me some fingers. I see a 3. I see 3s, 4s, 2, maybe a 1, a couple of 2s. I'm looking for the 5s. No 5s, but we're on our way. Now envision a normal Tuesday in the best version of the life you want. You wake up with the sun. The sun's coming through the jungle leaves into where you are. Maybe you wake up next to someone you like. Your breakfast has been delivered, or you go down to the local coffee shop and have your favorite smoothie with friends. You work on the project, your most creative work, for a few hours up until lunchtime when you just retire for the day and enjoy the beach or enjoy walking the mountains. Can you see your version of that? I love the Tuesday, the perfect life, a normal, mundane, everyday day. How about this one? I am living the best version of the life I want. One is not there. Five is I'm absolutely there. I see a fours, threes, fours. Nomad Crew should have a lot of higher numbers, right? Threes and fours. I love it. A couple of twos back there. Three. How can we have both? I don't know how the clicker works. There we go. So that's what we're up to. We're playing a big game, winning a big life. One question we ask ourselves sometimes is, do you deserve it? I think this is always a funny, interesting question. Do you deserve it? One child's born into a place where there's not enough food, no clean water, the parents aren't available. Another child's born to royalty, in line to become a prince, a king. They deserve it. Tornado rips through a town, knocks down one neighbor's house, leaves the other one alone. Do they deserve it? Sometimes I feel like I'm waiting in line. I'm waiting for my turn. I'm climbing the steps and I'm not at a high enough step yet to do the next thing. I'm waiting for justice to make the right decision, this universal justice to make the right decision. And I think there is no justice. It's just us. So the better question might be, will you ask for it? And so we're going to look at some ways to start asking for it. We'll come back to this. What percentage of Amazon does Jeff Bezos own? What would you guess? I'm talking about 2020, his last year as the CEO. Shout out some numbers. Is it 100%? I think I'm hearing 60. I think I also heard 16. 16? 3 I heard. Any others? 30? Yeah. And notice none of the guesses are 100%, which is the first clue. The answer is 1.6 when he sold it. Not sold, excuse me, when he stepped away as the CEO position. In 2020, Jeff Bezos had 1.6% of Amazon. When the company went public, he had 16%. So even as he was sharing the company with the world, of course, when you go public, you have to let go of some of those shares. You have to share it. 16%. Every 5 years, down, 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 down. 16%, already a fraction. 1.6%. 10% of that. Now, what was the value of what he owned? That green line? I don't need to tell you the numbers to let you know it goes up dramatically, right? 16% is worth 5 billion. These are billions. At 1.6%, a tenth of the ownership is worth 50 billion. Multiples, 10 times. A tenth of the ownership, 10 times the value of his holdings. Why? Amazon got bigger. The pie got bigger. So what does Jeff Bezos know that some of us don't? What is he doing, right? When he gives the company away, what is he doing? Scaling up's a great word. Thank you. So next question, what is your word for the toy on the next slide? This I actually would like to hear. What do you call this thing in your country, in your language? Seesaw? Everybody seesaw? Anyone else? Teeter-totter? What is it? Whipple. So this was supposed to be an animated slide originally, but I exported it wrong. In this seesaw, teeter-totter, whipple, one side goes down when the child sits on it, the other side goes up. What comes up in here is impact. We're pressing up the impact we want to have in the world. What puts the weight on the other side to lift it up? Well, it's you at first. For a lot of us, it's us. But then maybe it becomes a teammates, an assistant, a staff, automations, technology, maybe AI, money, investment. Eventually, the you can disappear. The you can be 1.6%. So we call this is called leverage. What a teeter-totter is, or a whipway. It's a lever. It's a lever. And so we're looking at ways that you can get leverage, that you can take your weight off of your business or your efforts in business and put something else there instead. So we've got X new understandings. I just counted them. It's 9. I didn't know when I made the slide. To gain leverage in money, business, and life now. And so the idea of this talk/workshop is this. I'm going to go through X, maybe 9 techniques, understandings, concepts about busting open business, leveraging, getting your weight off of your business and putting something else there instead so that your impact increases beyond you. And at the end of that, I'd like you to work with yourself and whoever's around you. Pick one of the concepts that resonates the most with you and think about how are you going to start applying it today when we get back to land? How does it apply to you? So the first one is called Big River, Little River. So I'm giving some business advice out to a gentleman who's pretty successful in his business. He's doing $10,000 revenue a month. He's just getting started, doing pretty good. And we're talking about how that 10,000 can turn to 20,000. That's exciting, and that's totally doable. If you found product market fit, if you found an answer to get money, there's more answers to get money. So no problem. We just expand, find efficiencies, all of that. But then I said, what do you want to do next? And he says, I want to be an investor in businesses. If I grow up my little business into a medium business and then into a big business, I'll have the experience to be an investor in businesses. So it's interesting because it seems to me what you're learning how to do is make a small business into a big business. Investing is a different skill set. Do you know that people are they're like 22-year-olds and 24-year-olds in venture capital firms? Do you know there are people who are on the younger end of our audience here who are already making $1 million investment decisions? So I'm wondering, is my friend working in the little river instead of going directly to the big river where he wants to be? He could just go get a job in investing. He could just go learn how to invest or start to take his own little bit of money. So when you look at the place that you want to go, that perfect life, that impact, is what you're doing today. Are you trying to do little river work and hoping it eventually opens up to a big river? Or could you go straight into the big river? Little river, big river. The next idea is surfing. So if you've gone surfing, there's a technique to catch a wave. You take your board out into the water, you get on the board, and you have these things: position and posture. You arrange the board in the way and set your body up in a way that you can catch the wave. But there's something you have to do first. Do you know what it is? Paddle. Standing up comes after. It's get in the water. You have to be in the water. And so if you're looking at, again, similar to Little River, Big River, you want to know, am I even in the water? Sometimes we focus so much on doing something right, understanding something perfectly. It's good to just get started. So get in the water and then worry about your technique. These are for folks who are just starting out. So 2 train theory, if you have a job and you have a dream. So you're going, I want to start something new. Sometimes the advice is get out, burn the ships, quit your job, go out to Thailand and start anew. And you can do that. That's an option that you have. Another possibility is you already have one. If you imagine a train moving at the speed of the money you make every month, for example. So say you're in a job right now and you're making X, let's say, I don't know, $3,000 a month. And so that train's running along. You've got your work, you've got your business, you've got another idea of what you want to do. The idea, if you jump from one train to another train, from your moving train to a non-moving train to the tracks, you'll fall, you'll get hurt, right? So you want to speed up. If you're doing a second job, a second initiative, you want to speed that up to the speed, right? Dollars per month of of what you're currently doing. So now you can jump from one train to the other train. So this is something I get asked about a lot is how do I start the new thing financially? How do I do it safely? And the way to do it safely is get that second train up to a speed where you can just cross over to the other platform. The next one is there's this idea about we want to find the right thing. We want to do the one right thing. What's the next thing I should do? What's the right decision? What's the optimal decision? What location should I be in? What new venture should I try? And so to that, I often say, don't worry about the right thing. You won't know it. You don't know what the right thing is. There are 100 right things. Find one good thing to do. Find one good thing to do and try it for 90 days. So a quarter in your life and in big companies is the perfect amount of time to try an initiative. So 90 days is long enough to take something on and see if it actually works, but it's short enough that you're not feeling like it's a lifetime. Sometimes we walk into, say, a New Year's resolution and we're looking at a commitment of 12 months, we can't sustain it. But 90 days is enough to see if something actually works. And it's also enough that if you miss a week, if you miss a day, you've got time to still get the results of it. This often is the one thing that people I work with do. They look at 7 different things they ought to be doing, and we find one thing to commit to trying for 90 days. And whether that's a new company, a new service, a new initiative. Owner versus operator. This is one of the biggest ones I see in the community here that I talk to. A lot of us are people who are business owners. We call ourselves business owners. But when we look at the actual setup of the company, we're the business. And so there's this difference of owner versus operator. That's a video I think it's not going to work. So we start out in a business or just in life, and it's just me, right? And then I build a company, and I've got all the things around me, but I'm still in the middle of it. So am I the owner of this business? That might be those other circles might be teammates, the automations, all the things we talked about, right? Even if I'm hiring contractors, I have a website, I have a sales funnel. If I'm in the middle of everything, I'm the operator of the business. I call myself the owner because the tax forms have my name on it, but I'm just the operator. Versus when I get outside, this is another example of leverage. I want to get outside of the business and allow the business to operate itself. One way to tell if you're the owner or the operator, if I ask you how much money your company is making, and you say, I'm making, say, $1,000 in profit, and I say, what do you get paid when you work inside the company? So let's say you're a social media manager. What do you get paid as a social media manager? You say, yeah, I get paid that $1,000. Okay, you're not an owner of the company. You're an operator inside the company. Because if you grow this business and step out of it, you've got to pay that $1,000 and maybe more to a person to replace you. So if you're thinking about, am I a business owner or am I like freelancer plus? Right, the business owner has 2 ways of getting paid. You get paid for the work you do inside the company as a staff person, and you get paid the dividends of the profit. So you have dividends of profit. There are dividends of profit available to you after you pay yourself the equivalent of a staff person. This is owner versus operator. Where are you in that? And do you want to start shifting in a new direction from operator to owner? Pesos in proportion. Is $10,000 a lot? This is just this idea of we look at numbers sometimes as the numbers we know them. So if you look at, let me ask, is $10,000 a lot? I heard no. Any other answers? All no. It depends. Yeah. So that's a really good answer is it depends. It's relative. It's relative. Is $10,000 a lot to Jeff Bezos? No, he wouldn't miss it. He can give it to you, all of us. You won't miss it. Is $10,000 a lot to me living in the yoga studio? Relative, maybe a lot. So we want to think about dollars in proportion to the thing that we're working on. So a couple of us were working on a residence project, buying a property. We'd have conversations about $1,000, and we'd say $1,000 feels like a lot of money. But then we were working on $1 million project. So the $1,000 a lot in reference to $1 million project. So similarly, ownership. I want to own 100% of something. Jeff Bezos already owns 100%, right? But he starts to go, wait, 100% feels like a lot. I want all my money. But here's what 50% looks like in a bigger pie. Maybe this is what 1.6% looks like. It's bigger than the whole original pie. So we want to think about numbers, ownership, money in proportion to the whole. And then I think this is the last one, and the one that I've been working with the most. How does this work? There we go. This is the one that I've been workshopping the most in the last year that I couldn't see until recently, which is we have this question of, hey, how come I can't get paid more for the work that I do? Why can't I get my, I'm making $300 on a deal, but someone else is making 10,000. How do I ask for more? How do I make more money with what I do? And what I learned is the best way to ask for money is to make more space for yourself in someone else's company, to make the money for them. And I think this slide's not going to work, but what I'd love for you to imagine or just think about with me is this. I'm talking to a business owner, and that business owner is making $10,000 a month in profit for himself. He says, Alex, I want you to come in and help me grow the company. And I said, give me 50%. He says, give you 50%. I got $10,000. I'm going to give you 5,000 of it. I said, okay. I'll double the amount of money you're making. How about that? I'll take that 10,000 to 20,000, and then we split it 50-50. He says, wait a second. When we split it 50-50, I still get my same 10,000, and now I'm giving you 10,000. I'm getting the same amount of money, and I had to deal with you being around. That's the same amount of money for more work. I say, okay, then we'll triple it. I'll turn your 10,000 to 30,000. Then we'll split it 50-50. I was, oh, now I sure I have to work with your dumbass, but I get 15,000. I get more. You get more. So this idea of if my number one goal is to make money, if that's my thing, and that may not be your number one goal, the best way to do it is to make space in someone else's business where that money comes in. So they're making this much, and I want to press out the space. I want to make them so excited to share with me because I'm making them more money. Is your business doing that? If you're wondering why won't people pay me more, are you showing people how you're creating the space for them to give you more, to be inside of there? Gradual release of responsibility. If you're in a place where you're growing your team, I want you to so this is about growing team, driving performance. So imagine you're going camping and I think I have a picture. Yes. So here we're going camping, and this proud dad is watching his daughter walking away, holding the weight of that log. How do you think he handed her the log? Did he drop it on her? Yeah, he didn't drop the log on her. He said, "Here, honey." He held the log. He made sure her hands came underneath the log, began to take the weight, supported the weight. He tested it. Is she okay? Does she have this weight? He takes his hands away but keeps them nearby just in case she doesn't quite have it. And then he backs away and she's got the support and he continues to watch her to make sure that she's okay. A lot of times when we do delegation and we say delegation didn't work, I brought someone onto my team. I said, great, you're here now. Here's 7 things for you to do. Go do them. They didn't do them. They didn't do them the way I wanted. It didn't work. I just have to do everything myself. Gradual release of responsibility is I gently give the weight, slowly, gently give the weight away to somebody. I make sure they've really got it. There are 2 things about this technique that are frustrating. One is it takes so damn long. I just want to give it away. The second is that it's so damn effective. This is how you get out of your business, through a gradual release of responsibility. And so we went through 8 or 9 little ideas, a bit disjointed, a bit all over the place. At the same time, so are the conversations I have with the community here when we talk about business, because everyone's kind of in a different place. And my question would be for you, what place are you at? Was there one of these where you stepped in and said, "Oh, that's the one that resonates"? Is there one that resonates? Who found resonance with one idea? What was your idea that you heard? Owner versus operator. Another one? Yes, ma'am. One good thing, not the right thing. One good thing. Swim in the right water. Little river, big river. Yeah. One way back there. Can you yell it? Gradual release of responsibility. Others? One more. No more. No more residents. Yeah, Marcel. 90 days. Let's try a 90-day experiment. So this is meant to be a workshop, and if you're here when you looked at the title and you said this is about growing your business mindfully, maybe that's something you want to do. So to me, at the beginning, mindful growth is I'm growing my business with the context of how I want my impact in the world to be, how I want my life to be. And so this is an opportunity now to workshop that a little bit. And so if one of these things resonated with you, I just want to give you the space to think, to write, to talk, and I'm just going to be here and walk around a little bit. Who's good with that? Great. So take this moment, just if one of these things resonate with you, how will it apply? So how will you gradually release responsibility? Maybe you already have an assistant, or maybe you're thinking of hiring someone. Maybe you have an assistant and you're going, oh, okay, that gave them work and they didn't quite do it. And now I'm seeing I could try something new, right? Maybe there's a 90-day experiment in your future, Marcel. Cool. Can I invite you to do that now? To take a moment and share. And what I'd love for you to do is take a moment to share with just somebody next to you which one of these techniques might be applied well to your business. It's probably when people turn to each other, make aggressive eye contact, and go. What's one little thing that stood out that you could try? Did you guys have one? No problem. What kind of business are you working on?
I want to make like an e-commerce or a platform to sell augmented reality T-shirts,
Okay, awesome.
and
Awesome.
also like a software as a service for. I have like three different ideas,
Yeah.
but I haven't started working on them yet.
Any
It's,
techniques up there that would help?
yeah, yeah, like the big river versus small
Big
river.
river versus small river.
That's a really
Are you waiting to decide between three?
uh,
Trying to decide which one's the right one?
not yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still undecided.
So the tip there would be, based on this, would be pick one, 90 days. Drive hard, 90 days. Just you don't know which one's the right one. Try one for 90 days
And
and
if
see
it
what you
fails,
learn.
then try it.
Then or and there's no fail. There's only learning. So you're gonna see a new world as a result. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no fail. You just learn and you'll shift. You might find that none of them were the right one because there is no right one. Yeah. So maybe that's one is pick one, 90 days, and then in 90 days it's just 3 months. Do something different. Yeah. I don't know if that's helpful, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. The start. Yeah. 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 They might not. Yeah. Yeah. The ask. Yeah. They might not show up. That's real. That's super real. Yeah. Mm, thanks. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. It might not be true. Yeah. And that's making the ask. Yeah. I think there's also a neutrality to like it's okay. Maybe people won't show up. The reality is that if I go surfing, I can get knocked off my board. Right? That's real. Yeah. Thank you. We got wait. Thank you. Nice. I like that. So we've got someone deciding between three business ideas, and I think he's going to choose one for 90 days. Hey, what's up? You got any idea?
Mind blowing.
Mind blowing.
Mind blowing.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I really like it.
Yeah. Anything in there for you?
Yeah, especially the thing you said about the universal justice. I feel like that's what I've been
Let's do that one. I'll figure it out.
waiting around for some universal justice just to hand me over what I think I deserve.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not gonna happen if I don't look for it, if I don't make it happen
Yeah.
myself.
My feeling is the universe doesn't seem to care.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem very interested in who deserves what. As far as when I look around, I see a lot of people getting things that I'm not sure they deserve. Bad things and good things. I don't know if the universe really cares. I could be
Probably
wrong.
not.
I don't have the evidence. That's cool. Yeah,
Thank you.
I like that. We had a reminder that maybe we don't have to wait for what we deserve because the universe doesn't really care that much, so we just go get it. Can you help me put up a slide? I think I broke it.
Oh, which one do you
I want the one that says justice on it, just us on it, way up, with big red words. Why am I talking to the mic? This one.
This one here?
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, it's Russian company. Everyone decided to speak Russian language.
That's okay.
We're all,
That's great. 90 days challenge.
yeah,
That's honestly
unfortunately, I'm reading
my
12
favorite.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know that
so
one. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
know there's many systems, but yeah, the right
Yeah.
one thing, my perfectionism is,
Just one thing. Don't worry about the right thing. Pick one thing. Do it for long enough to know. One of the things I think about is we try something. We say we tried something, but we didn't try it hard enough to know. So we say it didn't work, but you look back and like, when I try an experiment, I want to try so hard that if it fails, I know I did everything. I know for a fact that it won't work. I know for a fact it won't work because I gave it the time, the energy. I showed up as best I could. And so if it doesn't work, I know it's not me not showing up enough. I know. Yeah, that's a cool. Are you all making up 90-day experiments via group? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
We might have an accountability group here. If you're trying a 90-day experiment, one thing to think about is give it all the energy you can give it. If it's gonna fail, know that it failed because it really failed because you put all the work you possibly could into it. What's up, man? Anything from this for you guys, or just chatting?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
my question would be, so I'm a freelancer right now,
hmm
and the question is like, can you start a business as an owner and not be in the center as an operator from the start on?
You can find out. I would say it takes probably already takes having some investment. So if you've got some money, you can do that, or if you buy a company, or if you come into a company as a strategist rather than an operator.
Right.
So certainly people can do it. You're coming from a place of I don't know, of already having a lot of leverage. So a lot of what we're talking about is creating leverage. You're talking about already having the leverage. So the leverage is money, knowledge, automation, network, people, things like that. Maybe you have it. Maybe you have something. Yeah. So for a lot of people, the journey is I come in and I start the thing. I'm the operator. Everything's my muscle, right? And then it's how do I get out of that again? My leverage is what I created, and I'm in the journey out, which is a lot of what I do with my clients. So they're like bootstrap founders working hard, and then they find themselves hitting the ceiling because they can no longer stretch beyond themselves.
Is it usually product-centered businesses or also like service, like agencies, consulting?
It's both. It tends to be agency services, but I do have a couple software clients. Yeah.
Do you think the product-centered business is easier in this regard to get yourself out?
I can't see the difference. I can't see the difference. Yeah. But
Prioritize the service,
we
right?
prioritize the service. Yeah. I think the energy of building leverage is the same regardless. What were you gonna say?
Well, but it's a bit harder, right? Like
Mm,
getting yourself out of the service business, like you can productize it, but
yeah.
also might be a bit more tricky.
Well, what you might be able to do is make the if you're making the service productized, what that means is you're making the service so the same from start to finish. And so an example is of I mean the a lot of people here are social media managers or something like that. So I'm a social media manager. I start going, how do I make social media? How do I make that into a package? And how do I hire the same person over? How do I make a role? So often what we do is something called with my clients a role performance guide, and so I'm looking at their whole delivery process and I'm trying to figure out, I'm breaking into what role does that? Because they'll say Jenny does that. No, Jenny doesn't do that. Jenny's wearing the hat of project manager. Jenny's wearing the hat of analyst. Jenny's wearing the hat of, now I have a role and now I start to define what that role is and now I can hire into that role. I start to make that role productized in a way. And so I can productize roles in an agency.
So you're saying basically you need to go away from like stigmatizing and building individual solutions to productize and make it the same, right?
Eventually do that, or you have squads that are capable of doing it. So they're consulting firms that have squads. And so they'll send squads out and will do custom solutions, but they still work from a framework a lot of times, or they work in a specific niche. So you do kind of want to get. I have so many clients who are just these big, sharp innovators, and I often say to them, hey, bring your innovation down to like 10% of what your company does. Make a little innovation lab. If you want your superstar developer to make cool project, every little idea you have to be tested out, okay, fine, bring it down to like this much of your company and let the rest of the company do something steady. And when your innovator comes up with something that's going to be folded into the process, great. So it doesn't stop you from innovation, but at some point you limit it. I think. What do you think? Possibly.
I'm still learning. I don't have my own company, but I'm learning.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. I'm gonna keep walking around a little bit. Yeah. Nice. How's it going with you guys? Is it about this or something different? You're just mingling? Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Are you finding ways to expand? Yeah. 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 Nice. Yeah. Are you making the money you'd like to be making doing that? No. Okay. Are you making enough money to eat? Not really. Okay. Yeah. The first thing I'm looking for in anything is can I eat? Can I sleep how I want to eat and sleep? From there, it doesn't matter. So that might be one where it's like, how do I really hustle and just get the most business I can get, or it might be do something else. Two train. That's two train theory. Do you remember that one? So two train theory is I have a job that I have a source of income. It might not be what I love, but takes care of me, it supports me, and allows me the comfort and the safety and the security to experiment with something else. So that might be an interesting thing is we go and we do the dream for the independence, but we're not independent. If I'm wondering where I'm going to eat and sleep next month, I'm not saying that's you, but just to be dramatic, if I'm wondering where I'm going to eat and sleep next month, I'm not independent, am I? I might be right now, but I'm not next month. But if I come to a place where I know where my income's coming, I know I'm going to eat and sleep for the next month or 2 months or 3 months. Now I can get really creative. Now I'm not worried. Now I have my security. That's my theory. Not everyone likes that, but I don't know if that's helpful. Probably just because sometimes things are discouraged. You go, I wanted to do this thing, and you look at the numbers of it and the reality of it, and you go, oh shit, I can't do it right. I can't do it the way I want right now, or it's going to be less comfortable. You don't want to do it on your own. Yeah, yeah. That's a great idea too, right? That's what's so people we all want our own. I want my business. It's my way. It's independent. I've worked for big companies. Inside of them, I miss it sometimes because they're so well resourced. There's always someone to help me. There's an office. They give me a laptop. If I don't know how to do marketing, I call the marketing person in the company. I call the legal team. I don't have to write contracts. I call the lawyer in the company. They have lawyers. You know what I mean? So it's like we actually give up quite a lot when we step into our own thing, and we are kind of on our own, and that's the deal for a little while. Yeah, but that's just the decision. What are you going to do? Are you going to figure out this thing how to hustle, or you got to maybe do something else while you build this up, or you got to deal with whatever discomfort is coming for you? But a lot of that, yeah. But two train theory might be interesting to think about. Can I get on a train that's going at the speed I want it to first, and then can I build the other thing to go up just as fast? So I can just hop. I can just step off. Because if you step off from the fast moving thing onto the nothing, you fall and hurt yourself, right? So can you speed it up? Maybe. Is that helpful? A little bit? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'll walk around a little more. Yeah. Yes.
40 minutes.
40 minutes. That means we have what, 10 minutes left?
Yeah, 10 to 15.
Okay, nice. Thank you. Thanks. In about 2 minutes, I'd love to hear some of the new experiments or realizations or applications that you're applying to your own business. We've got people thinking about two train theory. When will I leap from what I'm doing right now to the next thing? We've got people thinking about their 90-day experiments. We had one person wondering if he's in the little river when he thought he was in the big river. We have a hardworking accountability group. Oh, okay. Now we're turning to a property investment group. We have an existential crisis about the universe and what we deserve in the universe happening.
Trying to push the idea that if you don't have a passive income, you're not gonna think because it's like
Ah, leverage. That's what leverage is. Yeah. As we begin to come back together and close out in a nice way, tell your neighbor one little thing that you either realized you're going to think about or try. Tell your neighbor one thing you're going to think about or try in relation to your impact and the life that you want. It sounds like this. I mean, you're already done. You're retired. You got all the money in the world. You live from cruise to cruise. I mean, yeah. It's Adam, yeah? Yeah. How you doing, man? It's good to see you. Any notes for you? Anything good? Two train theory. Ah, you were developing, yeah? Did I have that right? Consultant? Mhm. I'd love to if someone's willing to share. Can I ask someone from this table to share what they've got? We'll come together in 5. I'm looking for eyes. I see your eyes. I see Michael's eyes. I see David's eyes. I'm seeing eyes come to me. I see Christina's eyes almost. Would one of you be willing to share a realization or a thought or something you're going to try? Is it a 90-day experiment?
basically
Here.
we had a very big discussion here. So we started from 90 days challenge. I think it's a great idea for anything. We have very different tasks here. Someone wants to get out of operation, someone wants to run the company. So I'm not going to get into that operation from the day one.
Okay.
Someone wants to like do trades, like try and maybe do things.
Mm-hmm. One good thing. Not the right thing, one good thing. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nice. Thank you. And we call that leverage.
Yeah.
That's what leverage is. I'm going to slowly walk to Christina unless somebody saves her. Anybody else like to share what they've come up with? It's getting scary for Christina. Anyone want to say, oh, you want to save Christina?
I just, for me, resonated the idea of one good thing. I just wanted to share my experience.
Yeah.
I always thought that like when you are not ashamed of the first version of your product, you
Ooh,
actually work quickly of doing it.
yeah.
So I started my company like 6 years ago for $1,500, and this is only the money I had on the side.
Yeah.
So last year we got like $2 million investment, and we're gonna have 15 schools globally.
Wow.
And it started from super small amount,
Yeah.
and I think it's always a good thing to try that, and it's very manageable to start from a small thing and to do it very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Not spending a year to find the idea, just do it right now. So I think 90 days is super cool. Now it's like December, so basically like sort of March.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah. Let's see what happens before March. I like that. And did you know exactly what to do when you started? Was it so obvious? You knew exactly the whole No.
Sure.
Yeah. You learned some things. You learned some things. Okay, I'm coming your way again. Anyone else would like to share one more thing that they are going to apply or a thought that they had? Okay, here you go. You've had time to think.
Okay, for me, I think one of the most important parts was about like one thing. It's difficult for me to think about the right thing. Like I feel like I have so many ideas and so many things. Maybe it's not what you intended when you mentioned it, but when I think about trying one thing, it's really hard for me because I want to do so much and I want to be so many things and I want to try so many business models and to see what works. But then he was telling me about how there's this theory that you can only get so far when you're trying so many things at the same time
Yeah.
with each of them. So it would be easier like to focus on one thing and then you can get like really far with it because of that. So for me that was like the most interesting part of our conversation right now. Yeah.
Thank you. I like that's a super helpful insight, right? How do we swim? Well, we get in the water and we start moving our arms and our legs, right? That's not swimming. That's treading. You're not going anywhere. Swimming is I pick a direction and I coordinate my movements toward that direction. Right? If I'm doing everything all at once, I'm not going to get anywhere. I think we have time for one more share if someone would like. Or maybe one more loud, proud commitment that you would be afraid to make, or you have it in your mind and you're like, maybe I'll do that, but now you have this opportunity to say it aloud to a group of people. Brave? Cool. Well, everyone, thank you so much for being here. I really enjoyed speaking with you. What are we pointing at? Who am I missing? Okay.
Thank you. So Javier and I had a great discussion, and one of the large commitments that we're going to make is we're going to continue our discussion and actually potentially form a partnership on how we can optimize the process, how we can start optimizing this process for it. So if it wasn't for that, not for this dialogue, I wouldn't have this. So very excited.
Amazing. That's applause worthy, huh?
Yeah.
This will be the next $1 million Nomad Cruise business, huh? Well, everyone, thank you so much. I hope this was helpful. Again, the intention is here's a bunch of things that show up for me in conversations about growing business with you and also entrepreneurs and business owners around the world. And all of them won't apply to everybody, but hopefully everybody got to have one little thing that they said, that's changing the way I think about my impact, how money comes to me, how money doesn't come to me, what I'm doing, what I'm refusing to do. And you're able to take that forward. So thanks so much for your time and your trust, and see you soon.